Chris Jones. Joining me tonight. And again, folks, if you'd like to join us as a guest tonight, you are welcome to join us on Knowledge is Power by texting me your address at 409-504-2770. Joining me tonight. And again, folks, okay, somebody. All right, somebody said, okay, here we go. That's that delay. Okay, guys, Terry Roy and Chris Jones, and we're just here chatting. And again, we're just sitting here talking about what we just random people talking. So we're gonna ask, I'm gonna first of all just get with my buddy Unc, Chris Jones. Yeah, Chris Jones from the South End.
The real South End, man.
The real South End.
Yeah, man. The real South End.
Hey, Chris, tell us what's going on. And I know you have this South Charlton Pollock
Historical Neighborhood Association.
Right. And just tell us a little bit about what's going on with the Charlton Pollock Neighborhood Association. What you got?
We're doing some fantastic things even in the midst of COVID. I've been going back and forth from some of our seniors within the neighborhood, checking on them, making sure that I maintain a social distance from our seniors, not trying to compromise them in any way. But my neighborhood is a large majority of seniors, and we have a lot of youth, and a lot of our seniors are taking care of our youth in this neighborhood. So I felt like it was, my duty to make sure that our seniors within the area are taken care of, as well as if there's any need, that need is being made as well. We're getting ready to have our meeting on the second Tuesday of every month. We're trying to adjust to, the social distancing and individuals not feeling comfortable around or among other individuals, and I could totally understand that. So we're trying to figure out a way that we can communicate one with another. And I like this setup, by the way, Tony. I might have to use it for, our neighborhood association meetings. We're getting ready to, embark in hurricane season, so educating everybody about, just different things to look out for and preparations to make, before that time actually comes and presents itself to Southeast Texas, which, from the sounds and looks of things, it might be sooner than we think. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, just keeping people, just keeping the residents informed, letting letting them know that there are individuals in the hood that actually care about them and their well-being, as well as we're writing up a few proposals to the city of Beaumont and a few other partners around the Southeast Texas area to see if we could possibly get some cooperation and team, effort, I guess you could say, collaboration on establishing a community garden within the neighborhood. Like I said, I'm talking to a lot of different people and organizations like TSU, Texas A&M, the Ag Extension, the Jefferson County Ag Extension here, a few co-op gardens, the Black Farmers Market, the Black Farmers of Texas Black Farmers Association. Just to have that opportunity where we can, I guess, educate our children. Which the park is right up the street from the school, so that I think that would be an ideal place for not only the school to participate but the community as well. And I think finally for right now, we're also working on a proposal to solidify an official place for the neighborhood association to meet. I know, as well as you guys know, we meet at the Family Resource Center on Irving Street, but that is I'm not going to say a conflict of interest, but there is a conflict of time scheduling and having access to the building, being that they have daycare during particular hours. So, we're just trying to sustain ourselves and maintain, a positive movement within our neighborhood. So we're doing pretty good over here, T.
Oh, I know you. I'm proud of you. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. Along with you have another group of people that's with you with the Charlton Pollock Association. What is the name of that group? With
The Jazzy Seniors.
the Jersey and the other village.
Okay. Within the neighborhood within the neighborhood, there is the It Takes a Village, Beaumont,
Yes, yes, yes.
and I'm ecstatic to have such an organization within our neighborhood, and they supply not just to members within my neighborhood, but members all over Southeast Texas.
Mhm.
Um, I spoke with Miss Cheryl earlier. She's the president of that organization, uh, and she's always getting donations from random individuals. She's always donating out. She does have a time schedule for individuals that are in need. So swing by her page. There's a page on Facebook. It Takes a Village.
Right.
Swing by her page, put your request in, and I guarantee you she'll try her best to meet your needs. So kudos to that organization that's headed by Miss Cheryl Jackson from
Yeah.
the South End, the real South End.
Right. Real. For sure. I've talked to Cheryl quite a few times, and I am so just enthused about how and what she's doing for that organization, and along with I think Shirley is
Yes,
where yeah. So I love that what they're doing, and we're gonna I'm gonna have them on to come on the show one night and
absolutely.
kind of just tell us all about their organization, what they're doing for the citizens of the South End. You spoke about the garden, the planting gardening in the South End. I own property in the South End as well, and
Sounds like good information.
yeah, and I would, and it's vacant lots, and that would be a good thing to I can probably donate to you guys to the
Awesome.
to your,
That'd
your
be awesome. That'd be awesome.
gardening.
Because like you said, Tony, within the neighborhood, we do have a lot of vacant lots, and
Yes,
um, from my understanding, the expectation of a lot of people holding on to those vacant lots were not met.
right.
So now we're stuck with a lot of vacant lots. Some are overgrown. Some you may get the front portion of it cut. But now it's time for us to rebuild uh, to a level of sustainment here in the Charlton Pollard. I
Neighborhood.
mean, one of the most historical portions of this city is where I live. I
Right.
braggartly say I live in an area where my churches are older than Gladys City, Boomtown.
Yes, it is. And need to be,
I
and I always
braggartly
say that
say
'cause it
that.
need to be recognized because
Absolutely.
I was raised in the South End,
Right.
off of Irvin and on Jacob Alley, and you know, and I know what it was like growing up in the South End, and
Yes, sir.
it was historical, and it was a neighborhood that you could imagine. I mean, we had everything we wanted in that neighborhood. Everything stayed there. So with that, I'm going to come back to you, but I want to also ask you a few more questions about the South End. I call it South End, Texas, because it is
Out
historic.
in Texas.
Yeah, South End, Texas, the Charlton Pollard neighborhood. It is historical, and we've it just there's so much we can do in that back in there, Chris. And you are doing a great job with that
I
organization.
appreciate that. I
And
appreciate appreciate that,
happy
Mr.
to have
Tony.
you on. We're going to talk about some other things that we need to be done. I want you to talk about things that need to be done that you're asking
Absolutely.
your city officials.
Absolutely.
They're watching. They are watching.
Absolutely.
And we want to let them know, we want to voice our opinion on things that we want to know. Now, I want them to know. I'm sorry. And with that, I'm gonna let you know about the schedule, the calendar on the knowledge is power on Sunday, coming this Sunday on the Knowledge is Power, and we're going to have Mrs. Beverly Hatchett, the chairwoman of the Golden Triangle Coalition of Black Democrats, and Tina Lowe, vice chairperson, they're going to be joining us on Sunday, along with Michael Cooper, president of the NAACP, and my good cousin, Dr. Matthews, Candace Matthews, is going to be joining us. Also, she's with the Houston Coalition of the Black Democrat. Well, they're going to be joining us on Sunday at 7:30 here on Knowledge is Power. So those who are watching, please make a note of that. And if you're watching the show, the podcast now, you can also, if you're not on Facebook or you're not a Facebook member, you can also watch us on Knowledge is Power on YouTube Live. That's right, YouTube Live. You can always go back to YouTube Live and type in Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. And you can pull up that video or all the videos that we have recorded in the last 2 months. And those are some very, very good podcasts that we had great discussions with Boy Afau, Jefferson County Commissioner, Mr. Joe Desertier, our Texas State Representative. And we've also had the Mayor of Port Arthur. We've had Mrs. Teller on credit, and we're talking about a lot of things on this particular show. We also had the superintendents of Beaumont Independent School District and Port Arthur here, so we're talking about real life deals going on here.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And what I want to do is tell you about what else is going on coming Sunday. So on Tuesday, I have a show. Tuesday would be the 9th of this month. That's our following Sunday show will be that Tuesday at 8 o'clock. I'm going to have the Justice of the Peace candidates. There's a runoff for the runoff in July the 14th, and I'm going to have a candidate forum. So you get to know your candidate that's running, and you get you're going to have the opportunity to hear them, hear their platforms, and not only hear their platforms, you're going to be able to ask them questions. So we're going to have a little question and answer, just like a little forum debate. So we just figure out what we have here, who we want to vote. A lot of us are not indicated on who we should be voting for.
I agree.
And this podcast is just to express what we need to express to our community, and because we don't get that coverage in the newspaper nor the television. So we got it now. So join me every Sunday and Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock on Knowledge is Power. And again, this is a visual roundtable discussion on this. We're going to talk about what's going on here in the city of Beaumont, the issues we have, and the problems we have, and the concern with ordinary local people, citizens who pay taxes in our city that having problems, and we want to address those problems. So those of you who are watching right now, if you come on live while we're on live, you can join the show. I would link you in and be a guest if you like to speak out about some things that you're having problems with and have had problems with here in Beaumont, Texas, or Southeast Texas. We want to address those things tonight and just talk about it and try to make a way how we can make things, we can solve these solutions. All right, my friend Terry Roy. I know Terry. We got a lot to unfold here. Unfold, Terry. Come on, Terry. I'm going to let you take. I'm just going to click you in and let you have the screen. Let's go for what you know, Terry. So, Terry, you and I have talked back and forth. You and I, we visit the
council meetings.
We at City Hall. We can't make it on City Hall because they start at 1:30. I usually can make times, and then there's times I can't make because I have so much other obligations. And I can make the 1:30 on Tuesday meeting, City Council meeting. So I like to address some things that you and I talk about and discuss, and we
Mhm.
air it out, and we want them to know that we want something done here. We want to change, and the only way we can change is we got to have some citizen participation.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's not enough people that go downtown to talk about it. I know it's at an awkward time at 1:30, and they're working on trying to get some night meetings. I mean, it's not going to happen, literally overnight, but in time, it's going to come. But in the meantime, if you have 2 or 3 hours out of your day on a Tuesday, it's best to come down, because if you don't, you're going to always suffer the same issues you have now. Because
Right.
you can call 311 all you want, but until you go down there and actually show your face, you're gonna keep calling 311.
I
So
totally agree.
yeah,
Yeah. And and that's what gets me. So let me move this in. Let me get close for all of us to buy. What gets me is when you do call 311,
mhm.
you just calling 311 because we're not getting the results.
But it's good to
You're
call it,
right.
because at least you have it on record
All
that
right.
you did call.
Well,
Right.
I mean,
So
like
they.
I will say this. In the beginning, when we first were introduced to 311, it was some discrepancies.
Mhm.
You guys know I've been calling the city of Beaumont, regardless to which department it is, for discrepancies that citizens had either voiced to me or I saw myself.
Mhm.
And I would call 311, especially if it had anything to do with the sewer or the water. I would call 311, document the date and time that I called,
Yep.
and document who I spoke to. If I was transferred to a different department, I documented that individual. If I wasn't transferred, and the 311 operator took my claim or my complaint, they normally give you a complaint number. You write that number down, as well, and then anytime you want to follow up, that's that number that repeat back to them. Well, there were several times where I would repeat that number back to them, and there was no record of it.
Yeah,
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm glad that, I don't know, they fixed that issue, or whatever it was. But I remember a time back where members that worked for the city were saying, "Oh, those work orders get stuck at the bottom." So now, if that's you know ethics or their practices, that's that puts those particular uh, work orders or whatever on the bottom of work orders, then those are some of the practices that we definitely have to change within those departments. And the only way you're going to actually affect those departments is if you have a plan and you hold your elected accountable to your plan. And that's also one of our issues, is that we're not bringing forth a plan to our elected. We're just going to the poll, voting for an individual, because of a familiar name or because they're a good friend of mine, but they haven't presented us with the plan, nor have we presented them with the plan that we can hold them accountable to. So yeah, like Mr. T said, calling 311 is one thing, but showing your face to your four elected officials is detrimental, especially when our elected will say, "Oh, it takes four
4.
votes to get anything passed on council." Well, if I have four council members, then it shouldn't be an issue to pass comprehensive reform and resolve to whatever issues that we may be
Yeah,
facing,
because
regardless to what side of the city that it's on.
a lot of people, don't realize that the council has limitations. I mean, it's only so much they can do. It's like with
Absolutely.
streets. The councilmen don't determine who's going to, what streets are going to be done.
Right.
All they do is vote on the money for it.
Mhm.
Right.
It's up to the city manager and whoever else to
Right.
do it. But everybody calls the councilman and say, "Oh, my street." you can call them till you blue in the face.
Right.
They don't control that, and that's what a lot of
Right.
people don't know.
I
Right.
totally agree.
They really
I
don't
totally
know,
agree.
and they don't control a lot of things. They don't. They really vote on it mostly is about money
Spending, right.
and spending it, and that's it. So you can't really go to
Budgetary
them.
things and spending.
You got to go a little bit further above them to actually get something
Well,
done.
is it but is it above them? I thought they were the elected.
Yeah, I thought that too. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a couple of them
You
on there
know,
that's good, and
you
they've got a
right,
lot done for me,
right,
So,
right,
and I can respect that.
right,
Yeah, but it's beyond and above them sometimes. So,
right.
yeah,
Hey,
And addressing your city manager is also key. He's
yes,
not untouchable. This man works not just for members of council, but he works for the citizens of Beaumont.
and yep,
So if like you said, Mr. T, if I can't get resolved through my elected official,
mm-hmm,
then I need to get resolved from my city manager
mm-hmm.
and stay on my city manager and my elected officials so that, again, comprehensive resolve can be brought to people that need it.
yeah. But sometimes you have to go above the city. Period.
Oh, yeah, like
You have to go.
TCEQ
You have
or
to go to the
Austin.
state
Yes, sir.
to get that because I've had to do it.
Yes,
I've
sir.
had to do it,
Yes, sir.
and probably going to continue to do it.
I was
Yeah.
just about to say, and if I was you, Mr. T, I would continue. But one
Oh
of the
yeah.
things I found out with TCEQ is, I
They're in
mean,
the
like
bed
one
with the
time I
city.
made a complaint, and I got a packet in the mail about this big,
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
and I know what that is. That's to discourage me. But guess what? I read every last one
I
of them.
I did
And
too.
every last one of them that they sent me, I'm assuming they were like, I guess, trying to be facetious.
Yes.
It had to have been
Yes.
every sewer complaint within the city.
Yeah.
And I guess to me, like I said, it was a joke to them, but to me, I took that serious
Oh
and I
yeah.
went to these particular
Yeah.
addresses. And
Yeah.
if it wasn't, resolved according to TCEQ now, because you're the
Right.
one that
Yeah.
responded to me.
Yeah.
So if it's not resolved to TCEQ, then I held you accountable. I call
Yeah.
my state reps. I call my my governor, because he too
Yeah.
is
I
not
did too.
untouchable.
I did too. Yeah.
So, and I let them know, hey, these are the discrepancies that I'm
Yeah.
seeing within a state governed agency.
Yes.
So if we can't get resolved through a state governed agency, then why is there even an office here in this on this section of Southeast Texas?
Yeah, the
I
TC.
guarantee you, I got a phone call back from those that are in the state portion of TCEQ,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, I
Yeah.
started to see
That's what you
different
have to
things
do.
happening.
That's
Yeah,
because the TCEQ is walking down these raggedy roads with the city, holding
right,
hands. That's
right.
why we're in the shape we're in. They're walking down the street
Especially
holding
our
hands.
regional office, Mr. T.
Exactly.
Especially our
Exactly.
regional office. Like I said, I've called TCEQ, our regional TCEQ, on several occasions, and they're asking me to go do investigations. Like I work for the city,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you guys know my
Yeah.
mouth as a younger
Yeah.
man. I'm sorry, I'm a disabled veteran. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not about to go. I'm not commissioned by you. I'm not contracted by you. So I'm not about to do your job for you. That's what we pay you to do.
Yeah.
So with that being said, ma'am, sir, these are the locations I need you to go
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna call you in a week or two and ask you what were your findings?
Yeah. Because I think about 3 of those thick things and I've read all of them
Yep.
from the back, from the front to the back.
Right.
And I could probably repeat them verbatim.
Man.
And and all it is just a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
To make me say shut up, Terry. Don't
Oh
talk
yeah.
about
So
that
you can
no
throw up
more.
both of your hands and just
But
say,
they
forget it.
don't know
I give
me.
up.
Tony know I don't shut up. I don't stop talking. You know.
I'm coming in the know, Mr. T. I'm coming into the know.
Man, I've been fighting it for 10 years now.
I
I
know.
appreciate it. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Right along with me, Doc.
Yeah, it's and not only you going through it. It's a
lot
of people going through it. You
but
know,
they don't say nothing.
they don't say that. Okay, here's
It's complacency. It has to be complacency.
Yeah, and that's why we're here tonight. We're here just to talk about this, and I'm sure they're gonna. I like for everyone to share Knowledge is Power podcast. I want to share it everywhere, all over the city, all over the country. It don't matter. We want those that needs to know that we're on to them.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna stay on them until they get it right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People don't realize it's really not the city that's the main problem in Beaumont. It's actually DD6.
Yeah, DD6.
You know, this DD6 is, you know, and I'm dealing with. You go outside my house, you'll see an ordinary plain dish trying to handle hundreds and thousands of gallons of water. Yeah, that's impossible.
Right.
Impossible.
Right.
And that goes hand in hand. You know, DD6 has been a failure.
Yes.
I
look who's heading it. Look who's heading it now. The guy that headed the city.
That's right.
So you know. In my opinion, I don't want to piss nobody off.
Right.
That's just in my opinion.
All we can go off of right there, Mr. T, is our opinion, but not just our opinion, but included our, our experiences. These are our experiences with, one of our old employees of the city that alleged to have housed that department. And from the dismantling of the water department, the termination of Haney Tomei, the discrimination against African-American males and females within the water department, we started to see, some disparities happen within our water department, including our sewer department, our streets and drainage, different things like, where we would, see tea on tap now. It's a regular thing again for individuals. Whereas when, if you think back when Dr. Tomei was, ahead of the water department, they were flushing the hydrants consistently. It was like on a scheduled, something that was scheduled. But, according to our city manager, we didn't need to do that. And now he see that not only we needed to do that, you should have kept doing it, as well as you would have probably caught up with changing out some of these valves and pipes that probably collapsed. Because I tell people, don't think that because they're doing work on the line that's going to eliminate, or that valve that's going to eliminate the brown water. It's not. It is not. There are certain places within the city where the water line is so old it has collapsed, and all you have is a cavity running through the ground that your water feeds to your house through. And if I'm lying behind somebody that works for the city. So
that's like pipe bursting is not the way to go, because all you're doing is you're bursting a pipe with another pipe, and you have all that other pipe that's sitting on underneath, and every time it rains, it weighs that pipe down, and all it's doing is sinking your yards, sinking your streets.
Right.
So that's not the answer. It's not. That's what pipe bursting is. They rather send another pipe through another pipe underground. And where does the other pipe go?
Right.
Come on. Let's just be for real.
I'm blowing my mind here to see.
Man, it's a lot of stuff people don't know, and because they don't pay attention.
Right.
Well,
and if they do pay attention, most of them aren't educated about it. And I'm not to belittle anybody. But like, if you want to know something here in Southeast Texas, you're gonna have to go find it for yourself. There's not many people that's willing to share with you the truth and nothing but the truth. So I'm just like
Hey, let's let it flow.
That's like with me. I don't blame the council for the job that they're doing.
I don't either. I really
But
don't.
I blame them for allowing somebody to do the job that they're doing.
Thank you.
That I mean, the council is fine,
Right.
but what they're allowing to happen. And if you go and speak to him, I speak to him a few times, and I'm looking at the manager, and he's looking at me. He's like, "Wow, I'll be glad when he sit down." But he don't realize I'm gonna come back and do the same thing again.
Yeah. Oh, I know you're gonna do that. I know you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
I bet they're excited that I don't attend as often as I used to.
Man, I wish you would.
Because I remember anytime the city clerk would call my name to speak, you could hear the over the microphone.
Yeah, because see, when you go up there, you speak with intelligence. They don't want nobody to come up there and speak with intelligence.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
That's what I do. I try to
inform.
I try to read before I go. I read a lot, and I want to know what I'm talking about before I go because they're looking for you to be unintelligent.
Right.
They are. And a lot of people go up there and don't have a clue.
Of how to present things.
Like they thinking that the council controls streets, and they don't.
No.
They just vote for the money, you know.
Right.
You got to be informed.
You have to be informed.
Must be informed.
And I'm going to say this: if you're going to go to the city council meeting, have your facts.
Yeah.
When you jump up on that microphone and
they're gonna cut you down if you don't.
They're gonna cut you. You're gonna cut your tail.
Yeah.
You know, and I go and I just sit and I observe. I don't speak very much. I just observe.
I used to do that.
I just observe, and I read the body language. I'm reading what's going on.
Oh yeah.
I'm there. I don't say very much, but I tell you what, when I do, coming with it, you know.
Yeah.
So my platform here is to educate our citizens in this area of what's going on, what they're doing to us, how the lack of how can I say this, attention to us.
Yeah.
That's some attention that needs to be done in the South there. That's some attention needs to be done in Alameda area.
Oh yeah.
That's attention needs to be done in the South Park area.
South Park.
South Park. They're just out about South Park.
Oh yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's everywhere.
But you know why they forgot about them? Because they let them forget about them.
I agree.
You can't let nobody forget about you.
I agree. But at the same time, Mr. T, in so many words, I didn't let you forget about me. You forgot about my great grandmother already. Yeah. You forgot about my grandmother. You forgot about my mom. So that right there is already repetition. You forgot about my great grandfather. You forgot about my grandfather. You forgot about my dad. So again, that too is repetition. Yeah. When I come about and I see that the same conditions that my mom and my dad and my grandmother and my grandfather went through are worse than they were during not that they were streets of gold, but they're worse than they were back then. And if I've been shown many times over that I can't go to you, whether you are elected or appointed, to get this resolved in a timely fashion, then I'm not. Why even participate?
Yeah.
Right.
Why participate? Yeah. Because it's like you have. It's like you have that need, that want to see, different aesthetics in your area, and we can't get that. Yeah. And they give you this lame excuse. Oh well, especially when I remember the first time I ran. The reason they said that this area is neglected like it is because of crackheads and crime. Crackheads and crime is the reason that we have a whole university with nothing around it. Crackheads and crime is the reason that we have a bustling industrial complex with nothing to attract international trade dollars or anything like that. So again, like I said, Mr. T, yeah, I let you, but that's a condition that that's a condition that you introduce not only to me, but to generations like me.
Yeah.
And after, it's like a relationship. After you done cheated on me so many times, I don't want to have nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how a lot of citizens within this area feel like they've been cheated on. I
Yeah.
gave, and I gave you my free vote, and I still get nothing.
Mm-hmm. It's like you've been ignored, and you're like,
Exactly. Intentionally ignored.
and I tell this all the time is that, and we don't, we don't see them until
Yeah.
they come to our church. I tell my friends and stop inviting them to our churches. Stop it, because
Yep.
they don't come.
Tony,
Huh?
I totally agree. You notice, like during the campaign, I did not go to nobody's church.
Right.
I didn't feel. I don't feel that's my. Especially while I'm on a campaign trail, that's not what I'm there for. If I'm a visit your church, I'm a visit your church to be edified in the Lord. Period. I don't
Right.
want you calling my name over to mine. Christopher Jones is nope. That's not what I'm here for, Pastor. Go ahead and give your message. That's I came to fellowship. I didn't come
Mm-hmm.
to campaign or none of that. So like when people were inviting us as candidates to churches and different things, I'll go, but I'm not going for you to put me on no pedestal or put me on a canvas or no, I'm not. No, that's not. Let's fellowship one with another.
Well,
So
and
I
also,
totally agree. Don't invite none of those none of those
they don't need
candidates
to.
to
No,
our
they're
church.
not coming back until it's time for another vote.
Right.
No. And then when they get in office, they ignore us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's time we got to stop this. It's
One
time
of the
to
one of
stop.
the things, I guess, Tony, I tell this is what I tell people all the time. Especially those that have great expectations from their elected. What candidate have you leased, rented, or bought?
Mm-hmm.
What candidate have you presented a plan? What candidate has presented you a plan? What candidate told you how long it's going to take to implement this plan? What candidate have you told how long it's going to implement this plan? How many votes have you guaranteed this candidate? Last and finally, do you not know you can recall that candidate?
Yes, indeed.
So let's
All of that I put into that candidate, I could ask for it all back and for him to come back and sit down with us. Come sit with
Yep.
us.
Yep.
But I see you're not doing anything progressively for us.
so yeah, right. So let's narrow it down here. Do you two guys do you think that we don't have a that's the city manager? Do you think this guy is really advancing us? Has he kept us back?
You said advancing us.
Advancing us.
So that
Us. No, he's not advancing us.
he has.
That's obvious that if I could ride on Angelina, I graduated from Central Senior High School 1999. If I could ride on Angelina today and tell you Angelina is still raggedy,
That's right.
there is no us in their plan from
Yeah,
the
but
looks of it.
that's like I live in what they consider maybe the West End, but I don't consider it the West End. I call it the baby West End.
Right.
And it's not great. It's
The
not great.
Northwest Side.
Yeah, in Amelia area. And some of the streets out here are just like the streets out there.
Yeah.
Everywhere. It's Beaumont. It's Beaumont. Period.
It's awful.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The South End, some of them are
Way past
bad, and I don't understand it because some streets over here get done before that. But who do you blame for that? Who do you blame? And you got to go to the person that's for the blame for that.
I
Now,
totally
I
agree.
met my councilman. a lot of people may not agree with a lot of stuff he does, but I agree with a lot of the stuff he does for us over here.
He does.
You know, whether, you know, and he does, and that's just a fact. You know, and we don't have every councilman that fights like that.
Right.
For that. So people always criticize people that's doing the positive things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, regardless of what negative things they do, is sometimes they do more positive than negative.
Yeah,
you know, so
that's crazy.
It's not that great out here.
Right.
I was about to say it's not. It's y'all's
It's not-
conditions aren't as bad as ours, but y'all aesthetically, yeah.
Yeah.
People, I do Uber from one side of town to the next. Well, before COVID, and like I would pick up students from Lamar that wasn't from Beaumont, and I would take the highway, and we'll get over by, you know, the Walmart area, and they're like, "Are we still in Beaumont?"
Yeah.
And that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's an embarrassment.
Yeah.
Because on one side of again, you have a whole university, and once you leave the boundaries of the university, oh, I see you. That's my second team. I ain't gonna say nothing too bad. But like once you leave that area, aesthetically, you look like, you know, you look as if you're in a neglected city. Period.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say a hood. I'm not gonna say, you know, you look like you are in a neglected city that has imposed, willfully imposed. This is the better side. This is the okay side. This is the hood.
And nobody's fighting for
it. It's built a mindset. I even for individuals my age to have grown up in the South End or the South or South Park or the North End or the avenues and be like, oh, I made it. I got an apartment, a deluxe apartment on the West Side.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get over there, especially if they're homeowners, they get over there, they find out that crime is way worse than what they thought. And the reason is because you don't get many reported instances I mean that's politics within itself, but
the thing that gets me is that you know, a lot of people don't complain, but they don't realize how much you're losing in your property value by just letting things just slide for so long, like your sewerage, you know, your streets. You imagine how much money you lose in your property value.
Right. Your property value constantly goes down, but your property taxes
go
are always going up. But there's no development, no change around you.
Yep.
Especially if you're starting to flood where you haven't seen flooded before.
Right.
Yep.
I read a lot about what's going on and about our city. And like you said, Terry, it's not the council.
Yeah.
But it's the manager.
It's the manager.
Who
yep.
And that's who we're going to have to place our energy in towards, and because Beaumont is stagnant.
Yeah, it's the city planner too. The guy that, you know, plans things in the city. Him too. Her too.
We're not growing. We're not doing that.
They don't have no kind of plans for this city other than to fix the problems they didn't let happen.
And I tell you what, I drove down Blanchard Street going to town. I don't know what made me drive there down Blanchard Street through the avenues. And I thought I was in a war zone. The street was that.
Yeah. It's been like that since I went to Crockett, Tony.
Yeah.
Crockett. I didn't say King. I said Crockett.
That's pitiful. That's
like I said, bro. Like I said, intentional neglect. I mean,
horrible.
A few years back, Orange Street and Royal Street collapsed. That's a block away from a school. But allegedly, y'all remember, we did a street study.
Yeah,
I
they
thought
did.
your street study would have told you what streets were in the process of collapsing. I thought your street study would have Sabine Pass and Sabine Pass and Jackson Street collapsed.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But like I say, it goes back to me. I don't blame the council for it. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just blame them for allowing that person to let it happen.
Right.
You know,
I
all
blame
of
them for I do blame them for unanimously yesing without
yes,
complete investigation.
without studying.
If you're gonna say yeah today, I want you next month to ask questions about what you said yeah to.
And there's only a couple of them up there that do that.
One, from what I gathered.
Yeah,
Taylor.
That's one.
no one's doing their homework.
Yeah.
Terry, yeah, no one's doing their homework. And
Oh yeah.
and
Chris and I probably know more than most of them. You know,
And it's sad.
it really is.
It's sad.
And
I've learned a lot in the last 2 or 3 years because there's a lot I didn't know.
yeah,
Two or 3 years ago, I didn't know jack.
I know.
Well, Mr. Terry, that's how I was when I first let our community know that I was interested in local politics.
Yeah.
I didn't get embraced. I didn't get educated. I didn't get mentored. I didn't get took under the wing or nothing.
No.
Everything I know, I had to go find it out for myself.
Yep.
Yes.
And at that time, I mean, like, I was freshly coming back from the military. I was 23, 24. Again, no embrace, no encouragement, no nothing. So in 2011, when I ran, that was, because I had to be obedient.
Yeah.
I had no idea of, what was going on. And once I plunged myself into that particular arena, then I started seeing all the little back doors and stuff that, that they take to, get over.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that. Tony, I could be real.
Tell it. Say it.
Might as well.
I mean, there's several discrepancies that happens within our city that I believe if we were to have somebody actually on our side on council to investigate these discrepancies, we would find out more than you and I know, Mr. Terry.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure.
Yeah.
I don't understand how is it possible that we go into almost debt every 2 to 4 years, hoping for a hurricane or hoping for some type of natural disaster so that we can
collect,
collect, so that we can recover missed funds. And I'm not saying that, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that anybody's stealing, but I will say that there is a lot of misappropriations.
But nobody's going to look into it.
Nobody's going to look into that because they're going to say, oh, it's going to be expensive to get an audit.
Yeah.
But we can
pay
so much money for these tests, studies, and different things like that, but we can't pay money enough to find out to check the real health of the city. That's like going to the doctor.
Do you remember a couple of years ago they approved, I think it was like $3 or $4 million for some kind of smoke test?
Oh yeah, smoking the sewer line.
What was the results of that?
We don't know.
We're still having the same problem.
We still don't know.
So what, that smoke went up north or something? You didn't see where it went?
We were sending smoke signals to the turds that probably flowed through there.
But
crazy, man.
And I thought about that the other day. I'm like, it was like $3 or $4 million because it was a big deal. That was before this current council got on. Yes, sir. And you haven't heard nothing about it. It just went away.
Yep.
And now they're doing another one.
Yeah.
Same goes for
what happened to the last one that they did. That's
same goes for the street study. We didn't get the results from the study, but we got a schedule of streets that was supposed to be done.
Yeah. So So they're gonna tonight. They're gonna look at this and they're gonna contradict everything we're saying. They're gonna come up with a reason to cover what we're talking about. You know it because you know they're looking. You know,
Yes, indeed.
they're looking. You know, and that's okay.
That's
I
fine.
don't care.
I know
By
that.
all
don't care.
means,
So
take
I know for a
whatever
fact.
ideas y'all can possibly get from me, Mr. Tony, Mr. Terry. By all means, I'm aware that y'all, our elected, and administration for that matter, goes on our social media pages to find out what we're talking about.
yeah,
I can contest to it because in 2011, again, when I was raising a stink about running for public office, I told our elected mayor that, you know, her citywide beautification project was biased.
mhm.
I told her that you have new homes that are being built in areas where the streets are past dilapidated. So that affects not only the homeowner, but their investment. Next thing I know, Madison's getting done.
Yeah. But you know when
I
it's
was
going
like, well, I look at it, you know, and you have to look at it in a certain in that certain light. Okay, I appreciate you for doing that, but it took y'all way too long to get it done.
but you know what's going to really start a change is when it started affecting on the other side of Delaware, from College Street over to Delaware, and it's coming. It's
You might as
coming.
well say
It's
on the other
coming.
side of the tracks.
Well, you know, I'm trying to be, you know,
I
but
we
it's
could be
coming.
frank.
Yeah.
Mr. Tony said we could be upfront and frank.
When they go over there where they at, that's
Right.
when you're going, and
Once
it's coming.
once
It's
it
coming.
becomes a problem on the other side
Like
of the
I don't
tracks,
live
then
far
we're gonna
from it.
have bigger issues.
It's coming.
I mean,
It's
because
coming.
like they said, my underpass in the South End, in the real South End, uh, since I moved to Beaumont, has flooded.
Always since
Not
I was
only
young.
has it flooded, but it also has claimed lives.
Right.
Yeah.
The one
Yeah.
on 4th Street has flooded. Not only has it flooded, but it too has claimed lives.
Yeah.
So, what is the issue with these two underpasses?
They
Is
don't
it
know.
insufficient pumping? Is it insufficient, you know, storm drainage? Or is it that the pump is not there at all?
Your guess is good as mine.
You don't have to guess.
Yeah, those on the
I know for sure my pump on Urban Street ain't there.
that can't
The
be.
pump house is there. The pump house is there, but
no pump in it.
ain't no pump in there.
It might be in there,
And if
but
it
it's
is a
probably
pump,
rusted.
they need to make sure it be turned on, because if it was from 1989 to 2020, I wouldn't still see the same issue.
I guess they think it's a holding pond.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason this area has not flooded.
Right. Because of that
underpass.
underpass.
Everything goes under there. Yeah.
Right.
And the sad part about it is that it is 2020.
And
That's
this is going on
the sad part.
1989.
Yeah, this 2020, and we hadn't figured out how to stop nothing.
Nothing.
And like I say, I don't blame the council.
No.
You know, I think they're doing pretty good.
I don't point my finger to the city manager.
That's who the problem lies with.
Yep.
But
City manager and administration.
But you gotta stop
Especially when he
allowing
says
them.
They're incompetent.
Right. Especially when he says he and the administration recommends approval.
No.
Well,
yeah.
we need you in the you in the administration's attention.
Right.
Mr. City Manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Same go for things that we deal with our police department, Mr. City Manager. Those things, those discrepancies that we have not only should be addressed by the chief, but addressed by the chief as boss.
Hey,
City manager.
City manager.
But you never hear nothing from him about nothing.
No. We don't even hear about things that go on in internal affairs. And like I tell people, one, if you want convictions of your elected and or police officers, you better make sure you got some judges in your seat. You better make sure that the district attorney is on your side.
Yeah.
Because if not, the discrepancies and disparities that we see at the hand of our locally elected, locally appointed, those things can be changed. But these individuals have to know that you can't just come into this city or this county and have those expectations like you just gonna do whatever it is that you want and we're gonna take it, and you're gonna put whoever offended us for a moment out of sight, out of mind, and then it's all right. He ain't on no. Those types of standards have to be changed. Like Tony said, one of the most excuse me. One of the most powerful things Tony said was seeking solutions for our living standards.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize that they have a standard of living here in Beaumont, and it's considered to be extremely mediocre, or like what we would say back in the day, piss poor.
Yeah. And that's a shame. We got to live like that.
Piss poor.
That's a shame.
In 2020.
It ain't like we
2020.
The city has the money they have the money. They might say they don't, but they have the money.
Yeah, they might say they don't have it for what we want.
Oh,
but
we
they
got
have,
it for what?
Ironically, they have it for the things that they want.
They want. Yep, like the money that went out to Terrell Park. You know,
or the money that went to the tennis center.
Like Terrell Park, they already had money allocated for that back when Harvey hit.
I was going to say, what happened to
where
that
did
money,
that money?
Terry?
That's what I'm saying. Where did that go?
Because you remember they said when the Harvest Club got messed up,
they tore it down.
The event center was to replace the Harvest Club.
And that's what they did with that money.
The insurance monies from the Harvest Club went to purchasing of the event center.
So where did the Terrell Park money go? Did it flow down when the water wasn't running out here after Harvey, or what?
If that's the case, if that's the case, that's illegal because that was earmarked for that particular thing.
Well,
oops.
You let that slip out, huh, Chris?
Oops, I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
I mean, I did say misappropriations, you know.
In your opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
But seriously, where did it go? You know.
And I guarantee you we'll never probably find out.
We could if
we would do a records request.
If we had a council that would go to the city manager and say, hey,
what happened?
Where did this money go?
And, the CFO? Who is our CFO now?
Yeah. I forget his name.
It's a he now.
Yeah, I think. But see, that's the people.
The CFO we had, that female, they almost ran her chicken shit crazy. And I didn't mean to curse.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Say what you got to say.
They almost ran that girl chicken crazy. I mean, bat crazy trying to cook them books. I said, I'm sorry.
Cook them.
I'm sorry.
Put some sauce on
her crazy trying to cook them books to cover their tracks. And then when especially when they found out that those hurricanes render certain amount of money and still some of them are earmarked for certain things, they started trying to figure out how is it we gonna get these. We could go to the Fed, we could go to DC, and we could petition for this money. We could get this money, we could petition for that money. But the whole time, in my opinion, you were trying to uncook the book.
Yeah, that's like with Terrell Park. You know, you're talking about at least $2 million, you know, from this time and from the last time that was allocated to fix Terrell Park.
Right.
So why wasn't it fixed the first time?
It must have went to the Burden Park.
In my opinion, I don't know.
I think he moved that money from Terrell Park on other projects.
Well, I mean, that's their practices.
That's illegal.
That's their practices. That's what they do. Yeah. Look at Avenue A. Avenue A was supposed to be.
The council's not doing any homework.
All it takes is one to do their homework. Just one.
Just investigate it.
Just one. It takes one of them to do it. You know, it takes two of them to put it on the docket. Just two.
Just two.
And that's
four
to make it happen.
More to make it happen.
Put it on the agenda. One to bring it up.
Right.
And it's not hard to do.
If they're not satisfied with the city manager, it takes what?
Four.
But it only takes one to bring it up.
That's it.
That's
it.
Who that's gonna be.
That's it. When that other side of Lucas and Delaware and Darling start having problems,
it's coming worse than what they are.
Then it's gonna get done.
But I'll tell y'all this: a lot of those people aren't gonna have to worry about problems, and one of the main reasons they're not gonna have to worry about those problems is because the amount of water that they pushing under Calder. And the reason I say pushing under Calder is because during Harvey, if you went to Riverfront and you witnessed the choppy waters behind City Hall and at Riverfront, you notice that water only started at a certain point in the river. Like if you went to, like, say for instance, the yacht club, that water wasn't choppy coming from behind the yacht club.
Yep.
But it was choppy once you got to where y'all remember the big storm drains that they put under Calder?
Right.
I'm
the
sorry.
Calder extension.
They didn't do that. They didn't do that. Y'all remember the big storm drains that FEMA put under Calder?
Yeah, the Calder extension.
Right. Now you tell it like it is. Man.
Yeah. That water, the water that they pushed from that area, lifted and pushed from that area, tore up all the down to I know it tore up the riverfront park that we had.
Right. Yeah. But see,
including some of the residents off of 8th Street, 11th Street, 7th Street. These individuals were seeing choppy water even down Hellbig and Bignan. Why are we seeing white cap brown water in canals? That's not supposed to be like that, y'all.
Yeah, that's
Anytime you see white cap brown water on the river or in the drainages, that's somebody lifting and pushing water, especially knowing the elevation of our city. You have to lift water from the west side and push it toward the river. Who lives toward the river?
Like the ditch,
North end, south end. Who flooded the most? North end, south end. Especially during Harvey, it was residents who were like, Chris, I don't see no water on my road.
Amelia too. We flooded for Harvey. We never. And I'd like to say, have you ever seen the ditch that sits on the side of my house? You know, the small ditches you have in your front yard?
Yeah, the little small ditches like regular neighborhoods.
It's just a tad bit bigger than that. And it handles hundreds and thousands of gallons of water because it drains the whole entire, pretty much Amelia neighborhood.
Wow.
And you imagine all that water running through a grass ditch?
Yeah.
With 2 pipes.
It's not going anywhere.
I saw them 2 pipes in that picture you took.
Come on.
And that's why we're having the floods in that area as well.
What they're going to have to do is they're going to have to cut the water off to that ditch. Other than that, you're going to flood every time. You're going to have to cut it off. You got to find another way for all that water to drain from back here somewhere else, somewhere west.
Mm-hmm.
Because where it's going now, man, I see every bit of rainwater that falls from the sky when I look in that ditch. And that's not. You imagine looking out your window and you seeing it coming,
coming.
Right. And you go to them and you tell them, and they look at you like, "No, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not really water. That's something else." I'm like, okay, what else could it be?
No water wet.
Yeah, exactly. They said, no, that's not water. I'm like, what?
I'm not aware that water wet. Okay.
Come on. But that's how they look at you. That's why you got to increase your knowledge, about things. That's the bottom line, your knowledge. Knowledge is power. Right, Tony Renfro?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. I remember my principal Mills used to, Mr. Hardiman actually, used to say that, and Mr. Mills at Ogden used to say, knowledge is power. Power is success and independence.
Yep.
That's right. That's right.
I remember that.
That's right. That's right. And they don't think we are sharp enough to know what's going on.
Oh no, man.
Yeah.
You hear how people belittle us when we talk about especially what's going on now.
Mm-hmm.
This one lady condemned everybody she thought she possibly could with her knowledge, or tried to belittle everybody with her knowledge. And she was saying, oh, the medical examiner's report is this and the medical examiner report is that. Of course, we know the process of the court. We know what evidence is. We know what included evidence will be there. But what we're saying as the African American community, or people of color, we can't always trust the medical examiner's report when it comes to somebody dying at the hand of somebody behind the badge. You see, the second autopsy came out with something totally different than the first one, and I told her that it would.
Right.
You expect the African American community to trust what a medical examiner report is gonna say, and y'all gave us syphilis? The Tuskegee report, the experiment is still valid till this day.
That's right.
And you want us to trust the medical examiner's report when it comes to an African American black man, or whatever you want to call us, dying at the hand of somebody that wear a badge? No, ma'am. You're not gonna. Please do not make us feel like we are that naive and inferior to your knowledge. Because just like you got it, we got it too. We have it, we know it. But it don't work like that for us.
Yeah, but in a lot of our neighborhoods, they give us certain things to keep us blind. They want to, they put liquor stores and they put gambling. They want to keep us drunk and dumb. That's why they allow the things that they do,
and broke,
and broke. That's what, dumb, drunk, and broke.
See, they already know we're the biggest consumers in the world, and we're easy target.
Easy, because easy. Some of us.
Yes, some of us.
Now, some of us are.
Some of us.
But if we understand that we have that power, we can do anything we want to do.
We 50% of Beaumont.
That's right.
50% of Beaumont.
But that would upset me so much. We're 50% of this.
We only vote at 8%.
Thank you.
If that.
Hey,
now here's another situation, Mr. Tony and Mr. Terry. I try to y'all know I try to educate and advocate for as many people as I possibly can. One of the things that don't sit right with me is the reported count after elections.
Go ahead. You know what? Go ahead. Talk to me. I know what you're
like in 2011,
I know what you're about to say.
when I ran for mayor, I ran a citywide race. I don't care if I was known or well known or not. I ran a citywide race. That race, the polls closed at 7. That race was called at 7:05.
That's right.
A citywide race was called at 7:05.
That's right.
Aldwins, who at that time was running against Miss Evelyn Fontenot, that race was called at 10:19. Discrepancies like that make individuals not vote. 86 people. It was said that 86 people went to Jefferson County almost every day during early elections. Every day? Almost between 200 and 400 people went to Rogers Park almost every day. Every day? Between 68 and 69 people went to Lucas almost every day. Every day? Again, Mr. T and Mr. Tony, these numbers
don't
sit right. Yeah. At the end of the election, it was said that 16%, it's always 16%, 16 point something percent. Even when I first ran, 16 point something percent or 11 point something percent. Those numbers don't match.
Yeah.
The numbers don't match. So if I have questions or discrepancies about the count, especially when it comes to election time, if I have discrepancies about the count, then who am I supposed to take these discrepancies to? Because the person that holds and hosts elections in this county is the same person that counts or is responsible for counting elections in this county. I'm not saying that there is fraud elections, but I will say that there are some discrepancies that needs to be addressed, and not just because I'm a candidate that ran a bunch of times. No, 2,400 people went vote in Ward 3, 2019. 2,400. Impossible for a solid number like 2,400 people to go vote.
That's nothing. 2,400. And we got what, 78, 80,000 registered voters?
It was split like 60-40.
Yeah.
Damn, you can't win like that. You can't.
No, Doc.
Yeah.
If you can't verify the count, verify the counter, verify the process of counting, verify it again, and then give me a final count, I don't want to hear y'all numbers, because I do not believe your numbers. Your numbers cannot. I don't believe them numbers. I don't believe them numbers.
Now, some things are bigger than us.
Right. And you already know, especially like if I go to Austin with my discrepancies as a candidate, I have to pay for that.
Yep, ain't cheap.
But if we go to Austin with our discrepancies, we get that for free.
Yeah. Power in numbers.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, we all know that we all need to vote, and we can't win with 8% voting.
Not
or less.
All right, and right. So as you pay attention. We are 50% Black.
They said 52, but I'll take 50.
52.
I know we at a margin.
Yeah, I'll say 50.
I know we are considered to be the populace of this city.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That is. But does it reflect downtown? Are we reflecting downtown?
No.
No.
We're not even reflecting.
And we wonder why we not get what we want and what we need, because what?
I'm gonna say it again. We're not reflected in our city makeup, in our city council representation. We're not reflected. We're not reflected in our county representation. We're not reflected. Jefferson County, well, first, Beaumont has more African Americans per capita than Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Beaumont does.
Yeah.
Beaumont and Port Arthur together have more African Americans per capita than Austin and Houston put together.
Right. I agree.
So, with that being said, in Jefferson County now, because we didn't say it's city, but in Jefferson County, I think our makeup should at least look like us.
Right.
Especially if we find discrepancies in sentencing individuals that look like us.
Right.
Especially when we get to, like you said earlier, our property taxes, and they don't resemble what should be happening around us. I live in a food desert. How is it that my taxes in a food desert is thousands of dollars?
North End also, they got what, one grocery store? And they got like, 40,000-50,000 people in the North End.
How is that possible?
North.
And our city elected will say, oh, well, BISD is your largest tax. We know that.
Oh, do I know?
We know that. Some of us do. But at the same time, there are exemptions that you should be able to get from BISD, and there are. But there aren't any exemptions that come from the city, and if there is, it's not many.
I'm wondering how the West End could have at least 10 stores, and the North End have one. And I don't know how many the South End has.
Zero.
I will say this. We have service food store, but it's a meat market.
It's a meat market.
So grocery stores.
No. In 2020 now, in 2020.
And you can't say Mercados because that's not in my neighborhood.
No.
You can't say Cash Saver because that's not in my neighborhood.
Yeah. Right. But what's gonna be done about it?
Okay, well let's go. That's North End doesn't have a grocery store.
They have Kings. Is it
They
Kings
got
is
King
over there,
Market
Magnolia?
on Magnolia.
Okay, but I'm talking about
Yeah. Name brand
I
store.
name. I
I
mean,
know what you talk about. Quality.
Quality.
okay, and also the South End we have zero,
Yeah,
right?
we ain't got none.
Pear Orchard don't have. Well, they consider HEB on colleges their grocery store, but
Yeah.
is it one really in the?
No.
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 Do you
No.
know the population in the Pear Orchard? Do you know that voting box in that Pear Orchard?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And we do not resembles downtown at City Hall.
But you go and count how many liquor stores and gambling things you have out there. You got more of them than you have stores.
That's right. And we'll target
that.
Yeah, we'll target. Man, I am enjoying this, and I'm glad we talked about this. And we have more issues than what we're talking about.
Oh man. We have so many issues.
We can't even cover this what we're going through. But next month on the first Thursday of next month, I would like to look at my calendar. I'd like to again do this again with us, and let's see what that would be. Yeah, that'd be a good day. That's July the 2nd. That's the first Thursday in July. I'd like to come back again and we'll just chat about.
We can do that. And you know what I'll do? I'll go around to see what some things I could nitpick about.
Man, all I gotta do is look outside.
Yeah, but
I was just saying that ain't gonna take long. I could probably sit on my front porch and nitpick.
And I'm gonna ask that when we do this on the first Thursday, and that's on a special night Thursdays. I don't. I'm only on. I do this Sundays and Tuesdays. It take a lot out of me just preparing a show and getting those here to prepare a show and to deliver it. And this is our mouthpiece. This is our mouthpiece. We're going to use this Knowledge is Power podcast as our mouthpiece, what we want to have, and what we're directing our attention to. We're going to direct our attention to the problem, the issues that we're going through here in Beaumont, Texas, and Jefferson County. And I also like to have the residents of Port Arthur to join us. If you'd like to join the program, just email or text me or inbox me your number, and I'll send you a link that you can be a guest on the show to talk about the problem that you have in your neighborhood or in your community or in your town, city. I want to know. We want to know, and we want to help you put that word out, because Beaumont Enterprise and the Port Arthur News is not going to come get you and say, hey, let's talk about this. They're not going to do that. Channel 6,
especially to come out with somebody to with some resolve. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Bring me some resolve. Don't just bring me, a pat on the back. I need resolve. Don't give me no lame cockamamie excuse to your practices either. I need resolve.
Right.
To my standard, my expectations.
I want people to start reading.
Yes.
And understanding what you're reading, understand how your city works, understand your civics, just everything. And if you don't understand those things, then you just are listening to somebody talk, because you're not going to understand what they're saying. I always tell people, you can ask me. Ask me. I don't know everything, but I'll try to find out.
Mr. Terry is informed. Mr. Tony is a candidate. I'm a past candidate. Ask. The individuals who are elected or in those positions don't want to answer you. Yeah, reach out to some of us.
And I'll tell you right now, if you got some problems, feel free to contact me.
Yeah.
Email me, inbox me, or just call me. And I will get on top of it.
I will go back to this last thing. We were talking about the pipe bursting.
Right.
Do you know what was flowing through those pipes? Feces, urine. So where's that stuff at now?
Sitting on the side of that pipe.
Sitting on the side of that pipe in your yard.
In your yard.
Oh, yes.
And you wonder why you smell.
Yeah.
Right. Especially coming through your sewer and or your like if you put a cup to your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what pipe bursting is.
Yeah. So people, you know what's going on. You know what we're doing. Share it with your neighbors, friends, and loved ones, and just share it. Many times I like to see it shared, so everybody can get a chance to watch this and listen to just local citizens. We're just African American men just sitting here talking. We're not gossiping.
No,
we're talking.
It's facts. Talking facts.
You know,
facts.
Yeah.
And our opinion.
Right, our opinion.
Right.
We're gonna give you facts.
Opinion backed by fact.
One thing I do know, we're gonna do our homework before we start talking.
Oh yes, indeed, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I don't want them thinking I'm a fool because I'm gonna be on top about. I ain't gonna say that, but but you know, I want our
brother.
I want our community. I want our African American people in our community to understand that we're feeding you knowledge, feeding you things that you need to know. What they're doing to us or what they're doing. We know we're doing our home. Every day I wake up, I'm reading, I'm watching, and seeing what's going on in our neighborhoods, in our communities. I might not live in our community, but baby, let me tell you, I'm in the community. My properties are in the communities, so I'm concerned as well as you are concerned, and I want to be a blessing to others. So this is why we're doing this. This is why I'm doing it, and this is why we're doing it.
I appreciate you.
I
appreciate you, Mr. Tony.
We can have a black voice. We want to talk about that. We want to direct our attention to things that we want now. It's our time now.
Yeah, just don't get discouraged in doing it.
You can't get discouraged.
I do it.
I said, oh my God.
Don't do it. Don't get discouraged, man. We done talked about it.
Yeah, I know. I
don't
discouraged sometimes.
Yeah.
I
was about to say irritated even.
You got six people listening.
Get calmed down last night.
Yep.
Especially after the Beaumont Police Officers Association came out with their letter of insightful intent. I'm gonna put it like that.
Right.
I don't know what their intent was. If their intent was to play politics, do that on another time. Right now it's crucial times for many African Americans, especially here in this city. No, we may not see what we saw on national news or in that young lady's phone, but we do have some discrepancies that needs to be handled. Yes, we do have some things that needs to be said if it's not said over council, because our chief ain't saying it. No bashing. I'm just stating facts. There are things that needs to be addressed, period, especially with those who police our community. I didn't say communities. I said community.
And that's another thing. We do not reflect the police department.
Well, for many of us, it's a stringent process. Now, I will say I do have some classmates that are on the Beaumont Police Department that work with Beaumont Police Department, Jefferson County, including Jefferson County Corrections. But I'm sure, Mr. Terry, Mr. Tony, joining a police organization is like if we trying to go through Rush Week. All of the Greek organizations are presented during Rush, and you pick and choose which one you want to be affiliated with by their track record, by the things that they do in the community. How many people do you see running to go be a policeman? By the things that they do in our community. Understanding that's the only way that those things, those practices and behaviors will change is if we are present and change those things ourselves.
Amen.
But not many of us want to be a part of a group that's targeted by their own kind.
Oh, that's deep. That's heavy. That's heavy. Hey, We did it, baby. We did it about an hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
It's been a good talk. We're gonna do it again. I'm gonna sign this special night on first Thursday of every month. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna have a round table. And I like to have
round table.
5 or 6 more guests that want to join us and just talk about our community, our city, our county. We want to talk. This is the voice that we need to get our message out, and we're gonna do that.
Because you know, you get
platform.
Because
Again,
if you got,
I said, Mr. Tony, I'm gonna definitely bring it toward our neighborhood association and see how it would benefit us. Because, like you said, I could go on YouTube and then go back to your archives and watch any video that I choose.
That's right.
So any piece of information that I may have missed being said here, I could definitely check it out.
Miss some good ones.
Channel.
Right.
Miss some good
I'm
ones.
definitely gonna bring that up to the members of the association and see about getting something like this situated.
Yeah, and also, let me try to have some of your groups on, and let so they can express their platform and what they're striving to do.
Absolutely. I'll definitely reach out to them and let them know that you definitely extended the right hand to fellowship.
Yeah, right. But it takes a lot to prepare and to do this, and I'm not going to stop until we overcome, until we get where we need to be. We get respected. And I'll tell you right now, people, stop spending your money at places where people disrespect you.
Or don't put nothing back into your community.
Thank you. It's enough. It's enough. So not only is the George Floyd ordeal it's on our mind,
an eye opener,
right? And we got issues. We got more than just that, but that's part of it. We got 40 million people unemployed.
A lot of people.
And you know the majority of them are who? Okay, all right. We've got over 100,000 deaths of coronavirus. And you know who the majority of those are?
The disenfranchised. Those that are disenfranchised, even in the medical field.
You know the majority.
And I work in the medical field,
so and we got a lot. I mean, we got a lot. And that's why I'm having also a live job fair coming on June the 14th. And we're going to have some job fair, but we need to also tell these people that's going to be doing this rehiring and people that's been furloughed or can't go back to the next job, we need some good paying job here in this area.
Right.
We need some good paying jobs here.
You know what?
Shit, no.
Man, there's so many things we could talk about.
It's so much.
So many things, man.
Yeah.
So many.
I was going to say, I think we could do a segment on that, Mr. Tony.
Yeah.
And Mr. Terry, see if we could get all of those that are, like if somebody posts something on social media about hiring, maybe sometime next month we'll, present those organizations that's looking for professionals, regardless to what profession. I try to tell people, if you don't have the skill, apply anyway so that you can gain that skill. If you feel intimidated, don't. I know people that'll write your resume, make it look nice, not falsified, but it will be nice and professional.
Right. You got to help each other.
Right. And if you needing financial information, how to manage money, how to have financial education, hey, I'm the guy. Just call me. I'll say, hey, a lot of folks don't know I have a MBA in finance, a business administration.
Yeah.
But ask questions. I had a relative last night to tell me, what are you doing? What are you doing for your community? It wasn't my place to tell him.
You don't have to tell everybody what you do.
No.
Yeah,
just pay
attention. Just do it.
Just do it.
Whatever.
whatever you can do to help your community, help
Right.
Just do it. You don't have to tell
Even if
nobody.
it's picking up, even if it's picking up trash on this particular block every time you pass by.
No. But again, we got to put the engine in motion. We got to get this going. I'm on Sunday. People watch this Sunday coming. I will have Beverly Hatchett and Tina Lowe with the chairwoman and vice chairwoman of the Golden Triangle Coalition of Black Democrats on Sunday at 7:30. So make sure and also I'm gonna have Michael Cooper, the NAACP, the president of the NAACP with us, and Dr. Matthews from the Houston Coalition of Black Democrats going to be with us on Sunday. And on Tuesday, tentatively, I have the George Mearhouse and Naomi Doyle, who's running in the runoff of July 14th election, the Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1, will be with us.
Is that, what place that is? Because I know they got 2 places in that precinct. Is that 1 or 2?
That's one, Precinct 1.
Precinct 1, place 1, or Precinct 1, place 2?
Right, that's a runoff, and that's going to be an important one.
Okay.
So let's be aware of that. That's Tuesday. And we're going to have 60 minutes. And also, we're going to have a little question and answer. If you got any questions you want to ask, it's just like being there at a forum, a candidate forum. And we're just going to be here on the podcast, and we're going to answer these questions. But people, remember, we must vote. I'm reading a comment from Miss Alice Ramsey, and it says the first person to call with a complaint in your area is your council person. And it's reads this way, and I want to post this because I want people to understand how it's done. And the mayor role is different from theirs. If you are a council person does not respond, then go to the council meeting and make your request known. No action. Well, if you don't have an action, we're going to go where? To the box.
To the voting box.
We got to go to the box. We got to go to the box. And I always say this on every show I have, is that people, we got to vote this year. This November, we have to vote in July also as well, July. But the general election in November, I'm sorry, we've got to vote like we never voted before. We got to.
And show up for your local elections like never before.
That's the key. Right.
Local elections is what governs us.
That's right. That's right.
Local elections is what affects us right now.
Our money.
And if you know the taxes I pay in this city,
you a ball, Tony.
Your mind. So that's city waste. City waste. Their management of money, city waste is a waste. They're wasting money if we don't do our homework and make them accountable.
Yep.
That's what I want to say. We got to make them accountable.
Yep.
You got that money, Tony. You can pay them taxes.
Hey, right.
Hey.
But anyway, guys, again, thank you so much. And let's do this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So much to unfold that we haven't even got. We haven't even to surf it.
Yeah.
Going on and how we can share this knowledge to folks. Now, there's a lot of folks that didn't know nothing about those pipes, how busted pipes are.
Yep.
So
some of them they dig up.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Some of them they dig up, but when they try to save time and money, they just burst through the pipes.
That's all.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Knowledge is
have a good one, fellas.
All right.
Thank y'all for watching.
Keep masked up. Keep masked up, and
wash your hands.
Wash your hands, wash your ass, wash everything. Hey, listen. Don't forget the rally. There's a rally tomorrow at Alice Keith Park at 4:30. So if those are watching and listening, please stop by. Come out to rally and let's come together, people. Come together. Come together.
Tomorrow at Alice Keith Park.
Come together, people. We've got to come together. Hey, thanks again, everybody. Join us again on Sunday and Tuesdays every week right here on Knowledge is Power. I'm Tony Renfro, and I thank you so much. God bless you. See you then.
Good night.